So I have a little story to tell. I don't really know who will believe me or not. I guess it doesn't really matter at this point. I wanted to kind of walk over a few things. I'm 44, and I think at 43, I recall looking outside my balcony and noticing different mountains. And I thought I was kidnapped. And the reason why I thought is because, like, I kept hearing, like, outside, like, my coworkers or, like, the IT leadership negotiating, or it seemed like it. It was just kind of silly. And I never could see anybody. And what happened was, at work, I went off on disability for vertigo. During my time off, I've kind of put together all the anomalies that I had seen since like September 2016. And then come May 2017, I put a document together and I left the chairman some information on their internal IT, but really mainly about just anomalies. I wanted somebody to take a look at it. I sent it to the feds and I sent it to local law enforcement. Local law enforcement kind of laughed at me because it was all elaborate. My home system was do not use my Wi-Fi, and come to find out it was spoofed. So somebody probably shut off mine and created one, and then that's how I connected. So learning all this stuff, I found out that they did the same thing at work. And I work for the Irvine Company. I hired a PI, and the PI looked at everything and said it looks like I was being attacked by multiple, just all different ways. And they said, and it very well could be the Irvine Company, and you're never going to find out. And so that's the first one I found out. Just by taking my cell phone and connecting it to their Wi-Fi, and it got hacked. So, and then work, I would go back from lunch and there would be a new user ID being like deleted. My Google account said undefined. Reprovisioning right at the door in Castle. And then employees coming in and just kind of joking around saying you're fired, whatever. When I took off, I just started inventing and just invented away, really. And then the day after I left those documents, I felt like I was dying. Beats per minute, 200 beats per minute, if not more, and freezing. It might have been after that I found myself at this new place. Somebody passed me some information about Princess Diana to look at, and I kind of did some investigation, and because of that, I was going to be given Duchess. Pretty insane, but my work finally came forward and said that they were helping me with patents, and I thought that was cool. And it sounds like I came up with about 65,000 inventions. I dated a guy. It seemed like we were being reviewed for something. I know I wanted to be like in a secret society, like Illuminati's. And because I had visibility by Trump, that's probably what happened. Because I asked one of the girls, I said, what is that? How much money do they bring in? And it's like a $4 billion industry. And I'm like, they might be interested in an inventor because it's good, clean money. Honest. And then I started having crowns on my body. And 2 years in a row, I had these balls, purple, gold, and silver, hanging outside. And I remember one time creating this huge Christmas bow and hearing that it was March, but it was December for me. And that kind of confirms the time continuum. When it started, I do not know. So it sounds like I died, and 13 years later they brought me back. And what happened was a spirit pulled the stupid device on my heart again, a defibrillator. So that they brought me back in 2029 because I died in 2017. And then they brought me back again at 2078 or 2079. And the reason being is because I invented so much that the girl Jamie deleted, they tried to delete my short term, but she went all the way back and deleted everything. So they had to set up my family where I was born again. That's what it sounds like. I remember my daughter at the age of 50 recreated an event in a quadrant. I remember seeing a magazine. I remember seeing everything. And so this quadrant had 16 spots, and they call them universes, which I don't know if they're really universes or if they're just a place in the universe for whatever. And they were doing these recreations of events. One was like the Kennedys assassination, just stuff like that. Egypt, 1800s, 1600s, my situation. And I remember after they were done, I remember looking at her picture on the wall, and it was morphing into like different ages, like showing me that time had passed by. Lots of time. In 2079, when they brought me back, they were shooting pods, white pods, out with Eddie and I in it. And 1,000, I think, was sent out. And maybe multiplied with a time continuum. If not, about the same time, I noticed that the Earth or the universe was doubling. Like it had already replicated itself. So I was just noticing that. When I died again, or actually the first time I recall having a conversation with God, I thought, actually a couple, gold. I told him about defending your life and how when you die it could be like that. And they offered to be a bird or a bug. And I challenged it, and I was the only one to challenge it. Because I wanted to go back as me. Before I left my 8-year-old daughter behind. The next thing I know is I had found myself still in purgatory. And then I hear coworkers. I don't see them, but I hear them. And same thing with friends. And that's why they thought I was like all drugged out or something like that. But it was actually, it's either a different level, a different time, or it's actually a different universe, a different planet. It might even be because I died. I can't see them, or they are in the future. And I'm in the past, and I can only live in the past. I can't advance. It could be that. And I wonder if they have any... See, I'm here, and they actually have to come back here. They don't recreate me. Because I start marking down the dates that I hear you. 3178, 5456. I look at my phone and it's 7104. And then you tell me most recently was 7402. I think that's the issue. I think you can't recreate me, you can't clone me, because I'm dead. And God has locked down souls. No. I bet you. I bet you anything. I just started writing down everything because it's so confusing. And every day, coworkers are here because, of course, I give them the bright idea of go ahead and clone yourself and then just run this, and you guys can go live your life. Because I'm always thinking outside the box. I didn't think that you would take every demise against me. Little did I know. And then when I felt like this movement of two, like a fight, Tammy told me that all the men here fell in love with me. And that's when I started picking my nose and doing all sorts of stupid stuff so my friends wouldn't be single. Well, as you could tell, I'm a good person. Even the devil told me I had a good and pure heart. And I was classified as a god, and they gave me gold. And the only reason why I am purple now is because I saved the universe number 2 and 17 on those replicas. They say they're simulations, but I have a feeling they're full-blown universes. And because of the end of time, they replicate them like an Aztec calendar. And so adding logic to each of them whenever you change the logic on one, because they're doing some really elaborate simulations, like a time continuum, which is astronomically difficult, but it would generate so many different planets like Earth over and over and over again for every year, however they were running it. So the possibility of hitting the sun, so adding logic like you can't have anything hit the sun. And then adding 12 to that to make sure that it's hitting the replicas behind the first one. I'm so tired of these people coming by, and I complain every day. And I don't know how anybody can help me.